What is up, my beautiful, beautiful people? It is Michael here from the Creativity Hub with another Hubdate for you. And me, oh my, what a busy, busy week we have had. Of course, like I mentioned on the last episode, we are hurtling towards convention season. Essen is just around the corner. PAX Unplugged a mere 2 weeks after that. And in the middle of all of that, we are releasing, of course, Untold, still currently at the printers and still currently doing their thing, and Blank. And it struck me that despite the fact I've mentioned Blank a fair few times on previous videos, and of course on our social media, which you should be following, I haven't shown you that much about it. And it just so happens that I have a big pile of review copies right here. These review copies are going to be going out to some of our favourite and most lovely reviewers, those who we really think are going to give it a fair crack of the whip, and B, to be honest, really enjoy it. These are not final copies of the game. The contents, the cards, the rules, they are 100% exactly what folks are going to get when they buy a copy of the game. But as you can see, this says review copy, not final product, in the top of it. And instead of the box that we're going to be doing, this is a little sort of sleeved, artisanal, handcrafted copy created by our own Winnie here in the office. She really puts effort in. So these copies are filled with all of the gaming love that we could muster. And yeah, they look really great, and the game, of course, is wonderful. However, like I said, I think it would be a good idea to show you, our viewing public, how the game works and what it's all about. So, ready? Let's do it. Okay, so here's the super speedy rundown on how Blank works. At the start of the game, you have 2 different decks of cards. The first one is the one with just the yellow background. Now this is the smaller stack and it's made of rule cards. Start of the game, we flip 3 of them up, and every card has an if and then. So if, for example, on this first one, a purple card is played, then the next player must name an animal, and they're not allowed to repeat anyone that's previously been said. Some rule cards in the base set will have a rule involving numbers. So in this case, if a 1 is played, all players must put their hand on the draw pile, and the last one to do so draws a card. There's also, if an odd number card is played, then the previous player must name the colour of a played card. So there's always going to be an if, and there's always going to be a then. There's going to be a trigger, and there's going to be an action that results if that trigger occurs. Each player also gets a hand of 7 cards, as you can see here. So these are the ones with the illustrations on the back of them. Cards wise, with the game cards, there are really 2 different types. There are these ones, which are the entirely plain ones. And just a quick rundown on the card itself. In the top left and top right hand corners, you see the number and the colour of the card. And every colour also has its own unique shape. Because of course we want it to make this game as accessible as possible. So literally everybody and anybody could play it. There are also some cards that have illustrations on them, and we'll talk about why they're there in a moment. At the very start of the game, when you open up a pack for the first time, there are also 6 cards that have card effect text in this space here, as well as an illustration. And I'm going to show you one of those in a moment. But if we kick it off, this was the start of the game. We would have it so anytime your turn rolls around, what you need to do is play cards from your hand, either matching the colour or the number. You can play 1, you can play as many as you have, but you can only match colours or numbers. You can't do both. So say for example, this is my hand. Obviously, I don't have any pink cards in my hand, but what I do have are a couple of 5s. Now, I could do, if I wanted to, I could just choose to play one of them. So obviously that matches the number there. But if I wanted, because I have another 5, I could play that one as well. And hey, look, it's one that has card text at the bottom of it. If I ended up playing my cards from my hand like this, that would mean that every other player has to draw 2 cards. The order of the way you play cards is important, because if I had played that one first, if I played it underneath, the card effect text would not trigger. The card effect would not come into play, because it's only the very, very top card that actually triggers any game card effects. What I also need to check is whether the card that I've played, the very, very top one, hits any of these 3 rules. So in this case, it's an odd numbered card, it's a 5, so the previous player would have to name the colour, in this case orange, of the played card. Now, once you manage to get rid of all of the cards from your hand, not only do you have the glory of winning, you also get to make a permanent change to the game itself. So you can either take one of the game cards and customize it, or you can take one of the blank rule cards and come up with your own if-then rule. So as you can see, Rory's done a few for us here. I've done my own one, which is the nerdiest thing that I could think of. If you get the reference, well done. So yeah, for example, this one here, Rory's gone for seeing red. Every other player must reveal any red cards in their hand. You must take these cards into your hand. So that is a bit of a weird one to play, because it means that you're going to be getting more cards into your hand, but you might be stuck. It might be a good idea for you to get more cards, which will give you more options. My one target player draws 3 cards, which is the text of the Ancestral Recall Magic the Gathering card, and it costs you 1 blue mana to play that in the real game, so I figured I'd go super nerdy for that one. So yeah, you choose any player, it can be yourself if you want to draw 3 cards. Another one for Rory, a slice of orange. Starting with the next player, give each player an orange card from you hand, Rory, until you have none left. So a good way of getting rid of a whole bunch of your cards. And then we have a rule that Rory's created, which is if at the end of the game the total value of cards in your hand is the lowest, you may also create a new rule. So that will allow another person to potentially make up a rule when you are playing. Now, remember we did say that a whole bunch of the cards have illustrations as well. Let's see if we can find a couple of them. Well, there we go, there's one of them right there. Half of the 72 game cards in blank come with illustrations, which will hopefully inspire you to come up with weird and wonderful rules based on those illustrations. We know that a lot of people out there aren't like amazingly confident in their art abilities, but it doesn't matter. It's cool. You don't have to worry about it, because we have a whole bunch of these type of cards for you to customize. Of course, if you are feeling a bit braver, there are loads of the blank ones as well that you can actually draw your own picture. Obviously, you need to come up with a title as well. Put your card text here, and no matter whether you create a rule or customize a game card, you need to sign the bottom of it down here where it says buy, and then in the bottom corner in the right of all of the cards there's a little white space that you can put a symbol in. Why is that space there? Well, that symbol will show anybody else who's playing your copy of the game what set it is from. So for example, you might put a little star in every single bottom corner of the cards in your deck. That means if you're playing with cards from multiple decks, you can sort them out at the very, very end of the game, and you know that they will be going to the right places. So there you go. That is blank, and it's going to be available at the end of October. As you can see, the game itself, initially, when you first crack open the box, is really nice and straightforward. That simple matching colors or matching numbers rule means that it's really, really accessible. Flipping out those 3 rule cards at the very start of the game means that everybody has something they need to be paying attention to. And the fact that there's only 6 of the card effect cards in play at the very, very start of the game means that you don't have to worry too much about keeping an eye on the central deck. However, once you do start winning games, once you do start throwing in new rules and new game card effects, things ramp up really, really quickly. And we've been amazingly impressed at the kind of things that people have been doing with the advanced copies of the games that we've handed out to people. We've seen people developing essentially Blank the trivia game, dexterity games. We have one person who has turned their copy of Blank, this thing that we thought was, you know, this really lovely, sweet and instantly accessible game. They've turned it into a ludicrously awesome, like, Euro tableau building game, and frankly that kind of blew us away. The possibilities with Blank are near endless, and we are really, really excited about getting this game into people's hands. Not just the reviewers who are going to be receiving these copies here, but you, the players at home. And yeah, once copies start hitting your tables, we want to hear about the stuff that you are making. We want to hear about the cards that you are coming up with. Share them with us and we will share them with the world. There is a Blank Instagram feed that has a few cards going up on it every week. We're putting a few new ones up, just getting things started, getting the ball rolling, getting things begun. But everybody here is the people who are making the cards, the people who've been playing this thing for months. We are used to this kind of thing. We are making these cards, and we know, okay, that's coming, that was good rule, that's good rule, but we want to hear what you guys are doing. We want to hear the kind of ideas that you will be coming up with for your own Blank cards when you play it. Now, the game is going to be launching at Essen, as we have said several times. It's going to be available there for €12, I believe. I think we're going to be aiming for a similar price for the UK and for the States as well. But do keep an eye on your online stores, Amazon, local game shops as well. This is going to be going into full distribution, so yeah, you'll be able to buy it. Hopefully, if you're not going to Essen, you'll be able to pick it up reasonably early in November, maybe early to mid-November, and we will of course be shouting about it from the rooftops of all the places where you'll be able to pick it up come its release. And that, my dearest dears, is it for this week. Thank you very much for letting me jabber on about the loveliness that is Blank. But seriously, we are well excited about this, and we hope that you, when it hits your tabletop, will be too. If you want to find out more information, if you want to check out some of the cards that we've been putting together, do follow the Blank Instagram. That is Blank_card game. And on top of that, of course, there is our usual Twitter. You can see us on Facebook, all that good stuff. But yeah, for now, thank you very much indeed for watching. We'll be back with another video next week. And yeah, have an awesome one. Whatever you're playing, enjoy it. See you later.